Hello fellow audio nerds, I'm Steph, and this is Major Hi-Fi. This week I've got with me the Noble Audio EDC Velvet. Now if you're an audiophile who's on a budget, this is going to be one of the options that pops up for you. So let's take a closer look at it. We'll go back in time to my first impressions, and then I'll meet you right back here for my overall thoughts. Alright, here we go. Hey everybody, Steph here. So today, welcome to my place. I've got with me the Noble Audio EDC Velvet. So let's take a look inside the box. Alright, so pretty standard bare bones sort of thing here. We've got some ear tips, this cool little Noble Audio case made of plastic, but seems like a good little carrying case. And then, of course, the earphones. Taking a quick look at these, the actual earphones themselves, the driver housings, are super small and compact, pretty light, but feel durable. They're made of machined aluminum. And I'm just noticing a couple of details that are pretty cool. They're these little, see if I can show you, these little kind of strain reliefs right at the base of the actual driver housing here on both sides, which is kind of nice. Got a microphone with the controls there. The cable seems pretty durable. Let's see how it feels in the ears. Yeah, they fit really well. They're quite sound isolating too. But I kind of like the look of them overall, because they sort of, while they have this like really lean kind of design, it still feels rugged and mature. The design isn't too overly flashy, but still has, you can tell that there's like this little attention to detail that's really nice. The cable itself is really interesting actually. It has, to the touch, it feels very like grippy sort of, but it's made of this thing called Vectron fiber, which is, basically it's known for being thermally stable and also just being very strong. And that gives me faith in its sort of build and durability. It also looks pretty cool. The thing I don't like so much about it is that because it's so kind of grippy feeling, it's kind of easy to get tangled up. But I suppose, hopefully that's not too much of a problem since it comes with a case. Alright, so let's take a listen to these. Now, as I sort of mentioned probably earlier in the video, that these are going to be one of the options you have if you are sort of a budget audiophile. They go for $120. Yeah, cool. I'm listening to the song I'm Callin' by Tennis, and there's this kick, snare, hi-hat pattern, and in the low frequencies in particular, they're super warm sounding. I definitely hear the full sustain of the kick drum, but its attack just feels a little bit softened. Like it's not so over the top and accented, although the low frequencies are definitely there, provide good energy for it. There's really good separation between the lows and the low mids, and because of that, even though the lows feel really like kind of warm and have this sense of softness to it, it definitely doesn't create cloudiness. There's still a good separation. Cool, yeah, I'm listening to a song called No Dad by Taylor Hollingsworth, and in this song there's an electric guitar that's super fuzzed out, and I think the bass has some fuzz on it too, and I really like the way that these earphones respond to it, because it feels very appropriate for the song. Sometimes because of the amount of like high-mid distortion in that guitar, sometimes it sounds a little bit too thin on earphones, but with these it sounds like it maintains the thickness that it needs in order to sound and like express the mood of the song that it has. So I'm really into that. And that distortion that is there, it feels pretty unabrasive, which I like, but as a result of that, there's a little bit less like clarity. It kind of has this mellowness in the high mids that I think will work really well with certain genres like this and not so well for others, but I'll keep listening. Actually, yeah, so now I'm listening to the song Inception by the McCoy-Tyner Trio, and I noticed that the piano, I'm missing some of that high mids in this kind of genre. Like, the attack is just a little bit slow. But the high frequencies I actually kind of like. There's a nice detail to the highs, but in a really general sense, they're a little bit quieter than they are usually in the mix. So with this song in particular, I like it because sometimes the earphones that are overly bright will accentuate the drums and the brushes, the cymbals, a little bit too much to the point where it sort of draws your attention away. But with this, it actually feels like a more even mix to my ear. And there's definitely still, the cymbals are maintaining their harmonic richness. They still sound really gorgeous and pretty, just a little bit quieter. The soundstage isn't remarkable, but there are like a few things worth noting. The sense of depth, I'm listening to the song Matter of Time by Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings, and the sense of depth isn't really too expansive or anything. For the most part, a lot of the instruments sound like they're from the same sort of distance away. However, it does show mid-rangey room mics very well because of just the amount of mid-range that's there. It's thick. So, for example, in this song, the guitar has the sense of being further away because of the room mics that were used with it. And likewise, the same thing went for the background vocals, which really sort of like are off to the side and further back and more kind of exact because of those mid-rangey room mics. The sense of width isn't super far out or expansive or anything, but there really is a well done sense of phantom center that feels really solid and kind of, I think, provides a little bit of like realism there that wouldn't be there otherwise. And in terms of height, it's not super precise or anything, but I definitely did get a sense of height from it. The vocals sit a little bit up here, the cymbals kind of live up here, the bass kind of brings it back down to the foundation, brings it back down. So there is like pretty good length actually, despite the fact that the signature is a little bit dark. But anyways, I'm excited to keep listening to these throughout the rest of the week, and I will update you on more discoveries that I make as time goes on. So yeah, I'll see you in the future. Alright, here we go. Overall, the low frequencies of the EDC Velvet are full and round. And the low frequencies sort of feel even to me for the most part, although there is a little bit of an accented sub-frequency region that isn't too overpowering, but just kind of adds a little bit of extra oomph to the low frequencies. Additionally, there's really good extension, and overall I would sort of characterize the low frequencies as sounding warm and smooth. So if you're looking for something super punchy, these won't be the ones, but if you're looking for something that's kind of like smooth and aesthetically pleasing, then you'll really like these. The middle frequencies feel smooth and relatively even. You definitely get a sense for clarity, although thickness is still there, which is really, really awesome for rock music in particular. I will say, though, that the middle frequencies start to mellow out a bit, especially as you start getting into the very top of the high-mid sort of region. This sense of clarity doesn't imply mid-range separation, though. In my opinion, the mid-range and the high-mids seem to kind of blend together a little bit sometimes. Now, this blending doesn't make it cloudy, though. It sort of just creates this really aesthetically pleasing sense of warmth, and I actually really like that. The high frequencies feel mellow and modest, although the high frequencies do feel pretty even. So while those high frequencies and instruments that have a lot of high frequency information will tend to sound a little bit quieter in the mix, they still come through with a natural tonality, so it still feels kind of realistic. Because of the low frequency extension, the sense of height really gets down low and feels really, really great. The highs don't quite feel as high on your head, but because of sort of the evenness in that high frequency, you do definitely get a sense of kind of precision when it comes to the sense of height. The width feels a little bit cloudy sometimes, and unless things are really panned in a very specific place, kind of like hard, you can sort of lose a little bit of definition there. But saying that, there's a really strong sense of phantom center, so things kind of feel glued in a sense. And the sense of depth isn't particularly deep. It's not creating a sense of depth, really, these earphones, but they do represent room mics and reverbs quite well because of this like strong mid-range, and because of that, if the mix creates a sense of depth using those techniques, then the depth comes through actually pretty well with this. Overall, these earphones are nice and even with a mellow, dark sort of sound signature. They sound really great with rock music, with pop music. They have a really strong mid-range. But if you are the type of person that prefers a lot of separation and bright clarity, then these won't be the ones for you. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And for more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. And as always, if you check down in the description box, you can get 10% off of these earphones, as well as see some links to our blog with comparison reviews for this, as well as an overall sort of written review for it. All right, everybody. See you next time. Bye.